Alright, so you should all have this review sheet at your desk. We're just going to go through problem by problem, figure it out, fill it out with me. You'll get some credit for doing it at the end. Alright, number 1. I have 15 plus x, so I want to get rid of the adding 15 to the x. How do you get rid of adding 15? You subtract 15. Good. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides of the equal sign. So minus 15 over here, minus 15 over here. That leaves me with just the x on the left. What do I have on the right? What? I think it's 8. Okay, double check that with a calculator. Heard a couple really random answers. If you're not sure, that's why we have calculators, so use them. Any questions on number 1? All right, number 2, what's bothering our x? The x is not alone because of what?
The 7. 4. Number 2.
The 4, the plus 4. How do you undo adding 4? You subtract 4 from both sides of the equal sign. Plus 4 minus 4, that gives you a 0. So you can cross those out. You're just left with an x on the left side. What is negative 12 minus 4? Don't say 8 or negative 8. Negative 16. The signs are the same, so you add them and keep the negative sign. Questions on that one? Number 3. What's bothering the y? The 15, and it's being subtracted. How do you undo subtracting 15? You add 15. So I need to add 15 to both sides of my equal sign. So I have y equals, what is negative 27 plus 15? Negative 12. Questions? Now, I should have numbered these a little differently. I do apologize for that, but we're just going to sort of go out of order just so I don't have to keep scrolling up and down. So let's jump up to 8. How do I start 8? What's bothering the y? The dividing by 7. How do you undo dividing by 7? You multiply by 7. So I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 7. That leaves me with a y or a 1y equals, what's 8 times 7? 56. Very good. Number 9, what's bothering the x? The 17. The negative 17. What is the negative 17 doing to the x? How do you undo multiplication? Dividing. So I need to divide both sides by negative 17. That gives me x equals, whoa, what's negative 204 divided by negative 17? What? 12. Positive, right? A negative divided by a negative is a positive. All right, we can squeeze 10 in. What's going on with the z? Ben?
It's being divided, so we need to multiply.
Yes, we're going to multiply both sides by 4. What is negative 13 times 4? Negative 52. Okay. Questions on that one? All right, jump up to 15. We're getting into the two-steppers. 15 is a tricky one. Any ideas where we should start? Yes, sir.
Uh,
15.
15. Oh, right here. We can start by subtracting -5.
Okay, what's minus -5? Minus a negative is the same thing as what?
Adding a positive.
Yep, so I'm going to just make it +5 just to clean things up a little bit. But yes, you are absolutely correct. All right, so on the left I have n divided by 3 equals 0 plus 5 is just 5. All right, what's the final step on that one? I have n divided by 3, so what do I want to do to both sides? Yes, I want to times both sides by 3. What is 5 times 3? 15, so n equals 15 here. Good. And just like yesterday, if you want to see if your answer is right, take the n out, put the 15 in. You would get 15 divided by 3, that's 5, and -5 plus 5 is 0, so it checks out. All right, number 16 is a bodyguard problem, so before I can get up to the x or the -12, I have to get through the dividing by 11. How do you undo a whole big dividing by 11?
You multiply by 11.
Multiply both sides by 11. Good. So times 11 times 11. Cross those 11s out. I have -12 plus x equals -33. Then what? What's the final step here? So you want to do minus -12. What's minus negative? Minus a -12 is the same thing as what? Yeah, so you're actually just adding 12 to both sides. So that gives you x equals, I need to know what -33 plus 12 is. The signs are different, so you need to subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the larger number. -21, yes. And the last one on this first part, what do you think I should do? Subtract 4, good. So I have 2x equals 20. Divide both sides by 2. So on the left side you have the x. On the right side you have 20 divided by 2. What is 20 divided by 2? 10. Sorry, I ran out of space on that one. If you need me to write it off to the side, let me know. But I think you can get it. Any questions on the top? So we're back to the one-steppers. What do I do on number 4? Add 7 to both sides. Good. So that leaves me with just x equals, what's 13 plus 7? 20. Great. You can plug it back in if you'd like to check your work, but I'm pretty confident with that. Number 5, what shall I do? Add the 6. Very good. So that gives me z equals, what is -5 plus 6?
4.
Careful. 1. The signs are different, so you subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the larger number. All right, number 6. Add the 15. Good. Remember, try to keep track of what's bothering the x. The -16 is already on the other side of the equal sign, so that's really good. We don't want to mess with it. We want to mess with the 15. What is -16 plus 15? -1. So -1 equals x, or x equals -1 if you want to rewrite it. Questions? We did 10, right? So we're on 11. Okay, so what do you want to do on 11?
Yeah.
Divide both sides by what?
Did you just put 1 equals?
We're on 11.
By 4.
By 4.
-1. -1.
What is 142 divided by 4? 35.5? Okay, I'm going to take your word on that one. Any questions on that one? You got a decimal, 35.5, according to one of your classmates.
We're still
Number 12, what do you think? Very good. We're going to multiply both sides by 18. So that leaves me with just the y on the left. What do I get on the right? Negative 90. Very good. We'll come back to 13 when we have a little more space. I don't want to cram it in there. So jump up to 18. How do I start 18?
-90.
Good. We add the 1. 19 plus 1 is 20. That equals 5x. Then what? Divide both sides by 5. So that gives you 4 equals x. Questions? All right, what about 19? Subtract what? Okay, we're going to subtract 13 from both sides. That gives me negative 5x equals what? Negative 30? Then what? Very good. We want to undo the multiplying by negative 5, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. That gives me x equals a negative divided by a negative. Positive 6. Very good. All right, last one in this section. What shall I do? Add 19. That gives me negative 14x equals... Anyone? $322. All right. Then what? Divide by negative 14. Don't drop your negative. So I need to know what 322 divided by negative 14 is. Negative 23 is the answer. All right. There's 8 more. Any questions? I'll leave them up there for a second, then we'll move on.
I catch up. Did you catch up? Could you go back up real quick, please?
Mm-hmm.
Number 20.
What shall I do? What? What?
Divide 14. 14.
What's happening to the x in number 7? What is this? A negative 14 right next to an x. That means what?
Divide.
That means multiply. How do you undo multiplying?
Divide it.
Dividing. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 14. So on the right side, that leaves me with 1x, or just x. And then in my calculator, I need to type in 126 divided by negative 14 equals negative 9. All right, I'm taking your word for it. All right, what type of problem is 13? I have a big division sign. Bodyguard problem, you have to get through that 2 before you can get up with the x and the 9. So, multiply both sides by 2, that just crosses the 2's out. The only thing you have on the right, or on the left side, excuse me, is x plus 9. On the left you have 3 times 2, which is 6. Now it's just a regular old one-stepper. What should I do? Subtract 9. Subtract 9. So x equals -3. Questions? Alright, 14's a two-stepper. How should I start? Add 9 to both sides. So I have 4y equals, what's -9 plus 9? 0. Oh no, this is where I panic and just go to the next one, right?
You can't panic.
You can't panic. You have to persevere. What should I do? Is y by itself? No. How do I get the y by itself?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. What is 0 divided by 4?
4.
No. 0. I have 0 pieces of candy and I divide it up between 4 of us. We still all have 0 pieces of candy, right? So y equals 0. 0 is an okay answer. For some reason students think like, oh, this can't be right. It's fine. If you plug 0 in right here, you'd have 0 minus 9 equals -9. That's absolutely true. 0 is correct. Alright, jump over to 21. I have x's on both sides of the equal sign. Oh my goodness. How am I going to get those x's together?
You divide by 3.
If you if you divide by 3, that breaks up the 3 and the x, which is not quite what we want to do. We want to move the whole thing. So you're right, we want to pick on the 3x, but how are we going to move the 3 and the x together? Subtract. Very good. So I need to subtract 3x from both sides of the equal sign where you see the x terms. Okay? So that gives me -9. The negative stays with the 9. What's 4x minus 3x? 1x. Then what? Divide by 1. What is -9 divided by 1? It's still just -9. Good. Remember, x and 1x are actually the same, so if you wanted to skip that dividing by 1 part, you could. But -9 is your solution. What are your questions? Alright, same starting point on number 22. I have x's on both sides of my equal sign. Yeah, so I want to move the 6x, I heard you say. How do you move a positive 6x? You're going to subtract the 6x from both sides of the equal sign where you see the x's. 9x minus 6x is 3x. You still have the plus 3. You moved the 6x, and then you have an 18. This is like a regular old two-stepper, so once you get the x's together, it should be smooth sailing from there. What should I do? Subtract 3. So I have 3x equals 15. Then what? Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So x equals 5. Alright, done with the first half. What should I do? Go over any of these or move on? Okay, I will assume your silence means we can move on. Alright, 23, I've got x's on both sides. Should I pick on the negative 2x or the positive 3x?
Negative.
Yeah, pick on the little guy. I want to move the 2x. It's negative, so I move it by adding it. So on the left side, I only have the 7. What is 3x plus 2x? 5x minus 3. All right. What next? Add what? Add 3. Very good. 7 plus 3 is 10, and that equals 5x. Then what? Divide by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and that equals x. So 2 equals x, or x equals 2. Either way is good for me. Questions? All right, on the next one, the x's are already on the same side of the equal sign, so what should I do? Just add them. 2x and 6x. 8x equals negative 64. Then what? Divide by 8. Divide by 8. X equals negative 8. Boom. Let's hold off on 25 till I get a little bit more room up there. Let's jump to 27. Ooh, parentheses. Ah. How do I start one with parentheses? Distribute. Distribute means you multiply the number in the front by both of the numbers on the inside. What is 2 times x? 2x. Plus, what's 2 times 8? 16. Good. And that equals 10. Now, I used to write out a step in the middle where I'd actually show the multiplication. If you still need to do that, that's fine. But I'm just going to sort of skip that step for now. Alright, next. Subtract the 16. Very good. So we have 2x equals, what's 10 minus 16? Negative 6. And then the final step will be to do what? Divide by, what's bothering the x? 2. So I need to figure out what negative 6 divided by 2 equals. Negative 3. Very good. Alright, that was a tricky one. I'm going to pause for a minute. Now remember, you have a test on Friday. You are doing the review tomorrow by yourself. So if I'm doing something that you're not understanding, you need to speak up now. Or forever hold your peace. Or until Thursday when I let you ask questions again. Or forever. But not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm making you do it on your own. I want to see how much you know before the test. Alright. More parentheses. So I need to start again by distributing. This one's going to be a little harder because we're distributing a negative number. So I still have the 9. I still have the equal sign. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Plus negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Now, what do I want to move? The 12. It's right now plus a negative 12. So I'm going to subtract a negative 12, right? Minus a negative is the same as what? Yeah, so we're actually going to add 12 to both sides. Now, some of you might write this as just a minus sign, plus a negative is the same as a minus. If you do that, that's fine. You still end up adding 12. We're all good. That gives me what? 21 equals 3x because the 12s are gone. And the final step, divide both sides by 3. So 21 divided by 3 is, so 7 equals x, or x equals 7. What are your questions? Yes.
Can we post this on FB?
This is going on YouTube right now. Miss Ricker, not Miss Munden, has the correct answer on number 28. What was the mistake? Who can point it out?
It was a negative 3.
It was a negative 3. See, I did what you guys do often. I was going too quickly, and I dropped something that's very important. So this is a negative, which makes both of these negative, which makes my answer negative. Boom. Yay.
Simple mistake.
I
Wow.
only know how to do this
We all make
because of that
mistakes.
lady up there.
Woo! The student becomes the teacher.
Surpasses.
My job here is done. Okay. Very good. I'm disappointed in the rest of you for
Are we
just
gonna
taking
call
my
her-
word for
Are
it,
we gonna
but
call her
very
Danielson
good.
for the rest of the semester now?
Daniel
Danielson?
from Karate
Oh,
Kid.
from Karate Kid.
Oh, I didn't.
Missed
See,
that movie.
not a movie buff now.
I'm so excited.
Ugh.
You're fired.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Nice. I thought you meant up here you got a negative 7. I was like, oh, but
Oh,
no.
sorry. I guess I didn't mean
Boom.
to say negative.
You got it.
Oh,
You're good.
all right.
Other questions? All right, let's see if we can get the rest of these on here in one shot. Probably not. Okay, we'll have to do these first. So number 25, the x's are on the same side of the equal sign. So we can go ahead and combine them. X plus 8x. 10x. So I have 100 equals 10x plus 20. We undo adding and subtracting before we undo multiplying or dividing, so I need to subtract the 20. That's going to give me 80 equals 10x. And then we can divide both sides by 10. And you get 8 equals x, or x equals 8. Any questions? I'm going to try to get these done before you guys have to leave, so I'm going to go a little faster than we've been going. Just bear with me and holler if you need me to slow down.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, you didn't ask. You were reading
Same thing here. We have x's on the same side of the equal sign, so I'm going to combine the like terms. That's 7x minus 3x, which is 4x, plus 16 equals 4. Then what? Minus the 16 from both sides of the equal sign. That's 4x equals negative 12. I want to undo the multiplying by 4, so I divide both sides by 4. That's x equals negative 3. All right, 29. What am I distributing? What is this? A 1, a negative 1. Good. So write a negative 1 there to help you out. Here's your line of equality. We are distributing a negative 1. So I still have the negative 8. equals negative 1 times x is just negative 1x, plus negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. I want to undo the adding negative 4, so I need to subtract negative 4. Subtracting a negative is the same thing as addition. So I need to add 4 to both sides in order to get that to go away. That gives me negative 8 plus 4, which is negative 4, equals to negative 1x. And the final step is to divide both sides by a negative 1. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. 4 equals x, or x equals 4, depending on how you like to write it. Questions on 29. Alright, and 30. This actually looks easy, but it's not. Remember, the 7 here is positive. The negative is with the x. So I actually need to start by subtracting 7 from both sides. Again, I'm going to write that as a negative 1x, just so I realize that the x is not by itself. And then on the right side, I get an 8. How do I get rid of that multiplying by negative 1? I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. So that gives me x equals negative 8. Any questions? So anytime you're determining if something is a solution, you're basically taking all the x's out and putting that number in. If you get something that's true, then yes, it's the solution. If you get something that's not true, then no, it's not the solution. So I need to plug a negative 5 in for the x. Negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5. That's positive 25. And again, I'm just following the order of operations over here. If I get a 54, I know it's true. Okay? 2 times 25 is 50. Plus 4 equals 54. This one looks like it's going to be true, right? 54 equals 54. So your answer would be yes, that is the solution. Yes is the answer. We are going to do the same exact thing on 32. I'm going to take the x's out. I'm going to put a 2 in. Alright, and then you just follow the order of operations on each side. So that's going to give me 4 plus 45. That's 49 on the left. On the right, I have 7 times 7. What is 7 times 7? 49. So is that the solution? Yes, they are both the solutions. If you would get something like negative 49 equals 49, or negative 49 equals 2, or something like that, then your answer would be no. But if you're getting one number equals the exact same number, then the number you plugged in made it true, and your answer is yes. What are your questions?